by Thomas Muir and Emily Thornberry, but like all sermons, the chief characters in it are Jesus and me and you. Let me begin by asking you this question. We often sing the hymn, and we might have sung it this morning, "Brother, sister, let me serve you. Let me be as Christ to you." I wonder what kind of image is in your head as you sing that. What aspect of Jesus' life most immediately comes to mind? Do you think of him taking the towel and washing the disciples' feet? Do you think of him teaching his disciples as they bickered about who was the top dog, that the real route to greatness was through service and cross-bearing? Do you think of him sharing healing and wisdom as he travelled through the first century communities of what we now call Israel-Palestine? Do you think of him on the cross, giving his life for those he loved? None of these are inappropriate. But maybe there's an important element missing. An element that is very clearly pointed out in the lectionary readings for this Christ the King Sunday. Readings that share the imagery of sheep and goats. Readings that share a passion for justice for the least and the lowly. See, I know that when I sing, "Brother, sister, let me serve you," I tend to restrict my thinking to the brothers and sisters I know, the brothers and sisters I interact with on a daily basis, the brothers and sisters that I'm familiar with and comfortable with. And these Bible passages tell me that that is much too restrictive. They remind me of the way that Jesus caused scandal by spending time with people whom the arbiters of style and righteousness of his day saw as not worth bothering about. They remind me that beyond my comfortable, warm, well-fed world, there are cold people, hungry people, hurting people, calling out to be served in the name of Jesus. I would imagine that Emily Thornberry is feeling pretty silly this weekend. She was the Shadow Attorney General this time last week. She is, I'm sure, a talented and able person. She's been sacked because of a single tweet of a house draped with St. George's crosses with a white van outside it. She lost her job and possibly her party lost a by-election because of it. It's been called a snobby tweet. It's been seen as a sign of a politician and a party that's drifted away from its working class roots so far that it actually seems to despise those whom it claims it wants to represent. Jesus was never part of any cosy elite. Jesus never joined anyone in looking down his nose at others. He didn't ever restrict himself to any one strand of society. When Thomas Muir was on trial for sedition, some of the accusations levelled against him were not at all dissimilar to those made by the Pharisees against Jesus. That he mixed with riffraff, with people below his station. At Muir's trial, Lord Braxton said this: lambasted Muir for going about among ignorant country people and among the lower classes, making them leave their work and inducing them to believe that reform was absolutely necessary for preserving their liberty, which had it not been for him they never would have suspected was in danger. And then turning on Muir's witnesses, he said, what right had they to representation? Parliament would never listen to their petition. Government in this country is made up of the landed interest, which alone has a right to be represented. As for the rabble who have nothing but personal property, what hold has the nation of them? He went on to sneer at one of Muir's witnesses, Mr. Barclay, an old man who was an elder in Cadder Church along with Muir. Why on earth, said the judge, would Muir, a gentleman, a member of the bar, associate with what Braxton called an ignorant old countryman? It was one of the few occasions during the whole trial when Muir lost his temper. He said this, I tell the Lord Advocate, the aristocracy of Scotland, I glory more in the friendship of such an old, poor and virtuous man than in the friendship of the highest titled peer who derives the source of his guilty grandeur from the calamities of the people, who wrings out a splendid but miserable revenue from their sorrow and distress, which he squanders in dissipation. And one of the reasons I have come to value this church's connection with Thomas Muir is that it keeps reminding us that it's not enough for us to be good at looking after each other. It's not enough for us to be good at looking after people who are like us. It's not enough for us to be good at looking after people who look after us. It's not enough to look after people with the kind of snooty superiority of which Emily Thornbury is accused. I said this in this month's Gazette as I looked forward to this Sunday, that it will be an interesting opportunity to reflect on how faith was part of Thomas Muir's radicalism and how much the church has tended to tone down the radicalism of Jesus' teaching. There's a very clear connection between what Muir said in his trial and the way that Jesus lived his life, and with the parable that we're looking at today, and indeed with the passage in Ezekiel that talks about bossy sheep that trample the grass so that others can't eat it, and muddy the waters so that others can't drink it. The great shepherd has a passion for the lost, the hurt, the sick, the weak. But not only that, he has a great opposition towards the strong who are determined to stay strong by trampling down the weak, the fat who are determined to stay fat by taking food from the hungry, the comfortable who are determined to stay comfortable by closing their eyes and their ears to the needs that surround them. When the Son of Man comes as King, is how the parable in Matthew begins. And when he comes as King, the yardstick by which he will take account of people is by the way they have treated him, but not by the way they have treated him directly. He will judge them by the way they have treated him as they have seen him thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, the prisoner, the people he describes as the least. I'm confident that Thomas Muir would stand up to that scrutiny. I wonder if I will.